Right.
Thank you.
Right, that's done it. We're live, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Are we recording now? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Well, good evening, everyone, and
Good
welcome
evening.
to this Environment and Planning Committee meeting, Tuesday, 15th September 2020. It's just gone 7 p.m. I'd like to start, before we go on to the agenda items, just say a few words. The recent passing of our Borough Mayor, Cynthia Barker, who served on the Town Council for a number of years. Was it 1 or 2 sessions? I can't remember even. But I've worked closely with her, both through the Rotary and Museum, and she will be sorely missed. She made an enormous contribution to the community, to the area, and I know to her Filipino representation in this country. So yes, it was a bit of a surprise to many of us because we hadn't been kept closely in touch with how she was doing. I just sort of heard rumours that she wasn't well, and then it seemed to escalate quite quickly. So may she rest in peace, as we say. So let's get on to the agenda then. Do we have any apologies?
No, Chairman.
Thank you. Any declarations of interest?
No.
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 So I'll try and get through this as quickly as we can. The minutes of the last meeting, do we actually have any updates, particularly on the Bowling Green or the closed churchyard, that we'd like to cover at all?
I'm just looking to see if it's covered elsewhere on the.
I wasn't aware it was.
Can I come to that later in the agenda when we deal with the?
Yes, I seem to recall we've had some correspondence about the Bowling Green, but I've got a feeling that some of us are still not entirely satisfied about the response we've received. But I don't know about the churchyard. We were supposed to get something back from the church many months ago.
I've had nothing back from the church. I'll come to that later in the agenda, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. So we move on to public participation. We've got no members of the public, I believe, as participants, in which case we can move on to planning applications. Now, we have a list that we were given with the paperwork, and we have a few new ones that were sent through today. Yeah. So what I propose to do is start from the top of the new ones, which I believe are on the top.
What I'll do, Mr. Chairman, if it's helpful,
yes.
I'll see if I can split my screen to call up that document for everybody.
Yes, if you can, that would be helpful.
I'll see if I can do that now. I'm just going to share screen, and it's this one. Can you tell me if you see that? Can you see that, members?
Yes, that's very good. Okay,
excellent.
It saves me looking
if I go a little bit bigger, if I go a little bit larger.
That's great. Okay.
You'll be
That's
able
okay.
to see
Yeah.
that.
So,
okay. So what I'll do is I'll make yellow the one that we're looking at the time then.
Okay, as you wish. That's what 160 Aycliffe Road was previously used as a mosque by the Muslim community, and someone now wants to make it a barber shop. So I assume there's no particular comments on that.
Welcome.
3 with Theobald's Court is retrospective installation of exterior air conditioning unit, first floor offices. Do we wish to make our usual comment about retrospective applications?
No.
But just the normal one, isn't it?
Yeah, outside the spirit of the planning
knows that
regulations. Okay, so 47 Berwick Road is a single-storey rear extension. Assume no comments there. Don't think there's much. And likewise for 1 Leeming Road.
No.
Anything? No? All okay?
No, Clive, the ones that are like this are straightforward. Can we not just go through them and?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm just giving everyone a chance if they wanted to make a comment. 31 Stretton Way.
No.
Rear extension. 92 Stratfield rear extension. Premier House, single-storey coffee kiosk and associated external somethings. Works. I think that's okay.
Works. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Hollybush, it's, internal alterations. It's listed building, so they have to do that. So they're making it a bit better. I think that's all right. 28 Park Crescent, garage to habitable room. They've got plenty of parking there. Telecom equipment at Canterbury House, I think that's okay. tallest building in the area, just about. 14 Well Mews, I had to look up where that was. It seems to me that's a 2-story rear extension and first floor. Where was it? First floor. Yeah.
The two-story rear extension, first floor side extension to include
Yeah.
addition of roof lights to front
14 Well.
elevation alterations to fenestration.
Yes.
You want to have a look at it?
Well, I did have a look earlier. I
You
can't
want to
see
look at the plans?
anything in particular that we need to
Oh.
worry about.
Okay.
There's a little bit of room there, so they'll probably be within planning law. If they're not, then I think the planning committee will deal with it. But it's tucked in around the back of over towards the Morrison's area. So, is everyone happy with that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. 46 Ransdale, demolishing garage, erection of single-story rear extension, 1 roof light. I guess that'll be okay. 30 Park Crescent, haven't we had that? No, it's 28. They're both doing it. Conversion of garage. 33 Cowley Hill, single story front porch, okay. And erection of detached self-contained annex adjacent to main. Let me just go to the, because the, yeah, adjacent to the main dwelling. Which it seemed to be a little bit of garden grabbing there.
Do you want to have a look at the site plan?
Would you like to look at the site plan?
We should do it with one of them, maybe, just see if we can get the system to work.
Yeah, okay, let's do that. I thought
Bear
it was
with me, I'll try and be as quick as I can.
Okay, I think it was a little bit like, say, garden grabbing and sort of filling in next to the house. Although there's probably no planning law against it. Whether it'll affect the street, the sort of street view.
I don't think they bother about the street view anymore.
No, I think they don't normally.
They disregard that now.
Yeah, it's opposite what was the entrance to the car park for staff when they were doing the building there. So it's a little way up the hill before you get to being opposite
I've got
Green Belt.
this now. So do you want to see the location plan?
Or
Yeah.
you want? Yeah, let's start with that.
Location plan.
You, please.
I'm not sure whether can you see on your screen what I'm seeing on mine, which is this location plan?
No.
No, I haven't seen it.
I might have to share that with another screen. We'll get there. So take me 1 second. Let's have a look. I can work this out. Oh, come on. News share. Where is that then? Oh, that's annoying because I do have it though. Open.
Yes, I tried to share something the other day on a Zoom, and I couldn't get it
I think we'll get there. We'll get there.
work.
News share. Right. You should see the list now. And if I click on location plan here, you should see the location plan now.
Nope, nothing changed. Oh,
Again, I'll try one more time and then we might have to abort if it doesn't work.
do you want to just try now? Because it's gone back to the main Zoom.
Right.
If you try now, see if it works.
It's a bit fiddly.
Yes, I realise.
Screen share, and then it was. It's very frustrating.
Okay, shall we move on?
Can you see it now?
No.
No.
Something is coming up.
Oh, yes.
There we go. Yeah.
Sorry it took so long, members. It's very fiddly. This is. That's the location plan. Yeah.
What's not
Oh.
wrong with that? There's nothing, what is wrong with that, Clive?
Odyssey Road, Cowley Hill. Oh, right, yeah.
33 Cowley Hill.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm not quite sure that what were they doing? They were doing erection of detached self-contained annex adjacent to main dwelling. There doesn't
Yes.
seem to be much space between that dwelling. So I'm not quite
There's
sure.
let's see. I wonder if I can do the. Can you see that now?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
we
can
can
see
see
that.
If I do proposed elevations and so on, you should see
Yeah,
that. Or is it sideways?
Right.
Try if I rotate that. Rotate counterclockwise. There we go.
yeah, but
Okay.
I can't see anything wrong in that. Front elevation.
No. Okay. Well, it was worth.
Pat, you've got your mute.
Sorry.
Pat, you've got your mute on, Pat, so we can't hear you.
Might be for the best. Just seems a strange thing to do.
Yes,
If
it's a
it's
bit.
going to be a separate dwelling, why is it only one story? But
No, it just says it's an annex,
annex, yeah.
It's an annex.
self-contained annex.
Hmm.
So it's like
It
a
might be a
workshop, I
granny
guess.
flat or a granny flat.
Yeah. Anyway, I can't see any specific
I don't see any problem.
objections.
I don't see how we can
Right,
object
so
to that.
we'll
No.
do
Okay.
we
We'll move on then, please.
3 Summer Hill.
Yes, it's conversion of loft with 2 side dormers, rear dormer, front roof lights, and 4 side roof lights. So I don't think there's anything there. 200 Gateshead Road, single story side and rear.
No problem.
Should be all right. 39
Yeah.
Rossington, single story front.
No
8 Coates Road, Elstree, hard landscaping to front to include new crossover and drop curb. Should be all right. There are regulations about that now. Conversion of loft, this is 3 Aberford. Conversion of loft to habitable room with hip and gable roof alterations to include rear dormer and 3 front roof lights. 37 Penscroft retrospective application for single story rear extension with pitched roof. So usual comment on that one, please. 21 Elstree Hill North, change of use of existing first floor ancillary residential accommodation to ancillary office and study rooms. So that's the unusual route to take. But
I don't think we should be. This is a residential area. Why would we be giving permission for office accommodation?
Because that's what they're doing now, Pat. They're working from home. People.
yeah, I guess so. I can't see that.
Yeah,
That's
we're in different times.
Yeah.
Do we want to do?
You're
so-
right, bro.
Do we want to make a comment or not?
No, I don't think so. Because as
I'm not sure it's
time
appropriate at
passes
this
by,
stage.
we'll be getting more and more applications like this
Yeah.
since people are working from home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. 41A up path, conversion of garage with office, gym, games room. Yeah, I think assuming it's within planning laws, I've got nothing to say on that. Removal of 224 Gateshead, removal of timber veranda to side elevation, replaced with timber supports with brick piers to rear veranda. So I guess they're putting a roof on the back, something. Greenways House, Elstree Hill South, demolition of existing garage and construction of mixed-use rear annex to main property. I looked at that, they're putting in a workshop by the look of it. The only comment I had was it's very close to the boundary with the next property. And this is duplicated further down the list as well. So I don't know, do you want to look at it or do you want to take my word for it that it abuts right on the boundary?
I will take your word for it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a reasonable comment. I think we can't say any more. 92 Deacons Hill Road, conversion of garage to habitable room, including changes from door to window, park ground floor extension, new pitched roof, patio doors. I think they've probably got enough parking there.
think they have.
41 Bullhead Road, alteration to front and rear, including single-story rear, porch to front, 2 roof lights, rear and window alterations. Should be right. Now, 16 Alum Lane, demolition of existing building and the erection of a new building forming 31 apartments with associated landscaping. It's pre-application advice. Now, I know exactly where that is because I know the person who used to live there. I think it's been sold. And I've in fact played tennis in their garden because they have a tennis court. My thoughts on that, whether it's overdevelopment and it could well affect the street scene, although it is opposite other flats. So in that sense, the street scene might not come into it. But it's a large plot. Yeah, I don't know what else we can say about it really.
31 apartments. 31
Yeah.
apartments.
It's a lot.
It is.
Yeah, and the height might affect the street scene.
Also, you know, what are they, studio flats?
Well, it's
office?
pre-application
apartments.
advice, so I
There's
don't
not
think we
enough,
know, do we?
No, I think we can't comment on that at the moment. We don't have enough information. That's just going to
Right.
the planners, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should comment anyway.
I think we could talk about overdevelopment, just like what Clive has suggested.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I think
fine. Too
a
many-
negative effect on street scene as well. Can't do any harm. And
Yeah, but the street scene, Clive, is not valid because they don't take the street scene anymore into consideration because every place, every house you see is different.
well, they seem to for Radlett when I was on planning committee.
Yeah, but it's changed. It was when I was on the planning committee, street scene, but it's not now.
Well, I don't know.
Well, I do know because they
Or
told me.
maybe we should just say it's well, we haven't seen the detailed plans. That's the trouble. I was going to
No.
say could be out of scale for the surrounding area.
Yes.
And
I
just
don't-
as
This planning
Too
now.
many apartments. Too many.
Well, that's overdevelopment, really, isn't it?
just a small piece
Surrounding.
on this.
Yeah.
The other day I went to see what's going on with the rents. Single bedroom is now £1,000 in per month, per calendar month
Crazy.
in Borehamwood, and it's
Okay.
1,500 for 2 bedrooms. So I
Yeah.
think the more we permit apartments construction, new ones here, it will be much better for people.
Yeah,
And
and it's
we hear a
well,
lot about services not being sufficient. They'll come up only if there's a demand. I mean,
yeah.
no, we
No,
don't
I agree.
expect a barber to come up and
Services are struggling.
Where are we
There
now?
we go. Okay, let's move on. 39 Rossington. It's just a rear extension. I assume it's sitting on top of an existing one. Belhaven Court reconfiguration, reducing the number of flats. Hooray! The external elevation works, removal of existing conservatory, new store, associated landscaping. I think this wasn't this on the car park site that they were planning to build? And I was just wondering if we can comment on lack of parking.
No, they're reducing the number of flats.
I know.
Existing flats are 44. They're reducing to 37. They have kept these flats vacant for the last 5 years.
Sorry about the noise.
No problem. They've kept these
Behind me.
flats vacant for the last 5 years. And
I don't know where Belhaven Court is, actually.
Sorry, say again.
I don't know where Belhaven Court is in Leeming Road.
It's just before you get going up Leeming Road towards Aycliffe. It's on the left, sort of opposite the pub, where there was a car park. And I don't know if they've actually got planning permission to build on it or not, but that came through a year or two back.
Oh,
Applied for planning permission. It's between the group of little houses in Belhaven, and the actual shops on the other side of the road. Although there's some more flats just on the corner.
Can you see this now that I've called up for you?
Yes.
Some of it,
That's
yes.
That's it. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's a whole new development. It's probably
Yeah.
come back then because it wasn't allowed with that amount of
Well,
flats.
probably, yeah. Okay, it's not terribly helpful, is it? But should we leave it? You know, 'cause it's difficult to know what to say in the context. Should we move
On
on?
the other side of the church.
Sorry? Yeah.
This one is on the other side of the church, Bellhaven Court.
Yes, because it's your area, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, 1 to 3 Manor Point, it's additional boundary fencing and whatever for the play thing, isn't it? Don't think there's anything we can say there. 18 Shelley, single story rear. 39 Wordsworth, change from front garden to driveway and dropping of curb. 58 Campion, single story rear. 62 Auburn Crescent, retention of front porch. 68 Deacon's Hill, single story extension. 114 Gateshead, single story rear. So that we've got 119 Firs Hill, 5 Bishops Avenue, outbuilding to use as a gym. 92 Stratfield, single story. 5 Stevenage Crescent, single story. 10 Cinderby, single story. 30 Micklesfield, single story. 25 Stevenage, single story. 986 Bullhead Road, single story. And 2-story rear and alteration to fenestration. I wonder what they're doing there.
Perhaps they're putting 2 separate applications.
Looks like it, in case one gets chucked out, maybe.
Yeah.
And a loft development. Loft conversion, certificate of lawful development. So,
We don't look at
Yeah.
those anymore. No.
do you want to look at it?
We don't look at certificates of lawful developments anymore, the policy.
No. 4 Ayotte Path, single story rear. 7 Macefield, conversion of garage. Macefield hasn't got a lot of parking. Do we need to comment on loss of parking in Macefield, Pat? Sandra? What do you think?
I think, Clive, that they don't use it as a garage. They use it as a room anyway. Do you know what I mean? And I think
But we can't assume that, can we?
It's on the hill, Clive. As you come up from
Oh, 77. Yeah, it's further up,
one
isn't
of the
it?
bigger ones. with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
front.
yeah. Yeah,
It's
true.
Plenty of parking.
All right,
Good point. Okay, move on. 109 Cowley, garage to habitable room, single story front and rear. Plenty of room, I think, up there. 33 Kenilworth. Oh yes, demolition of existing garage and store and construction of new 2-story 3-bed dwelling adjacent to number 33 to form an end of terrace with associated landscaping and vehicular crossover. Now I looked at this one and it struck me that there wasn't actually a lot of space next to the house. When I looked on Google View, it was actually a little bit, looks as if it was a bit more spacious. But I don't know what, perhaps we can have a quick look at that, please, you.
Which, sorry, Mr. Chairman, I'm looking at something.
33 Kenilworth.
Yes. Stupid thing.
I think I sent round a picture, didn't I, on email?
You
I
did.
looked at it as well.
You did.
Yes,
It looked very cramped.
Yes, exactly. So how you get a three-bedroom house in there, I'm not sure.
Overdevelopment.
I think that's probably right. Certainly my first impression, looking at the plan.
Well, these rooms are getting smaller and smaller, aren't they?
Yeah.
What did you want to see? The site plan first of all, or the
Yes, I think the site plan would be good,
was proposed
please.
location plan? It's called, right. Okay, I'll call that up now. I've done that.
And I'm not sure it would leave enough amenity space
Right.
actually, but
Okay, you should see that now.
difficult to.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So just to explain, then the blue is the existing house, and the red is the garage and store. They've made it look about the same width on that. I'm not sure whether. Oh, maybe it is. Maybe they can get away with it, but I think it's probably a bit of overdevelopment. Looking at the other houses there,
Yeah.
the
They're split in
footprints on
half,
the others.
haven't
The site, yes.
Can you see that?
Yep.
Right, good.
Hmm.
It
Okay,
does make it all big enough there, doesn't it?
it does, yeah. So difficult to tell, isn't it? Rear elevation. It's not, how big is it? I think it's not as wide as the house it's next to.
No, it isn't.
No,
But you know, they'll get it passed.
quite possibly. Do we say just sort of possibly a possible overdevelopment?
Yes.
If you want.
Yeah. We'll see what they come up with. I mean, you could understand it if it was a 2-bedroom house, for instance, they were putting in. And I know we normally say that we want larger properties, but not at the expense of room size necessarily. So Hartswood School, they want to vary some conditions, and we don't really know what what that includes, but I expect that's
I don't
probably
think
okay.
there's a problem with that.
Todd Close, single-storey rear. Maisonette, single-storey rear. Greenways House. Oh, we've had that one. There's a duplication. So that takes us to the end of those, and we move on
To the decision.
next item, decisions, and the most interesting one. They're all granted except for the first one, which was the what was it called, Churchill House.
Can you
They
see
wanted to
those
build
now
in
on the yes, are you able to see those?
Yep, I
Permission.
can see that now.
Good.
So the Churchill House was refused because it's in an employment zone. So I'm not sure why. The owner of it is an architect. He should know better. So
But they
At
look
least-
right, won't they? There's money there.
So
yeah, anyway, so I don't think we can make any other comments. So it looks like Sky's going ahead, and we've got more opening hours for McDonald's by the look of it as well.
Yeah.
So we can
Well,
note
what
that.
do you do?
I really must get to one McDonald's one day and have a milkshake. That's what I had last time, and that was about early 1990s. Right, we're on to no, sorry, that's the minutes. Don't want to go there. Look at the right place. Neighbourhood plan. Right, so I updated some of my colleagues on a small development there. What I thought would be appropriate, I spoke to Laura Wood in planning department, who's involved with things like the local plan, to find out a bit more about why we were advised originally that it might not be appropriate to start off our neighbourhood plan when we were ready to do so. And the real reason is that you could spend a lot of money on doing a neighbourhood plan over 2 years, but then you could find when the local plan comes out, it conflicts.
We said this, Chairman. That's been said at the last meeting. That was
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
made.
But I spoke to Laura Wood, and she said, wait and see what the local plan comes out with in the next year, 2021, beginning, when it'll go to the executive. And also, I think you were saying, Pat, weren't you, about or someone was saying about the
White paper.
about the white paper and
That
planning.
was Farida.
Yeah, which I haven't seen yet. So we need to look at that, and yeah, sorry, I was just getting rid of a little fly. We need to look at that. But it occurred to me, if we're going to do a neighbourhood plan, we probably want to crack on with it next year. And what we need to do is try and get an idea what we'd like to see in it. And then we can have a look at that in the light of the changes that are coming about in the local plan and the government white paper on planning, and see where there are likely to be conflicts, which will at least give us some sort of basis to decide whether to proceed. But I'm not quite sure how we can actually construct the process to do that. I'm obviously prepared as chair to do some digging and finding out what we might be able to do. Hugh, I know you've looked at various, I think, neighbourhood plans, haven't you, in the past?
Yes, and
correct?
certainly attended many sessions on neighbourhood
Yes.
planning. Whilst
Can you
we were-
suggest any sources?
whilst
for-
we were gearing up to
Yes,
do
exactly.
that? In fact, we had an away day, if you remember.
Yeah, I know.
Was to
I think
describe what to do. I mean, there are a couple of dimensions to this, but there is a checklist to go through about how to start off with a neighbourhood plan. And it does include some very basic questions. I'm not so much what you actually want to see in the plan, because you don't necessarily want to preempt what the consultation process is going to unearth, but certainly why you're doing it, what your rationale is,
yeah.
what your objectives are with the plan, some different sorts of questions, but also the scope of the plan. I mean, it had been mooted in the past, not just in terms of geographical area, whether you wanted to initiate a plan and say Elstree Village alone, or the whole of Elstree and Boreham Wood, but also in terms of the scope of what the plan is going to cover, whether it's going to seek to delve into matters of housing, style, employment. There's a whole host of topics which you can pick and choose from in terms of creating a neighbourhood plan. So that sort of initial foundation work really needs to happen first. We are in the advantageous position that there are a number of authorities who have already gone through this process now, than when we were looking at it last time. And it's possible that I could ask HAPTC, the County Association, for some guidance about what would need to happen now, because my notes from a few years ago may be sadly outdated, and that there may be a
I suspect our aspirations haven't changed much.
Having said that, it would also be common sense to speak to Peter Evans in Aldenham Parish Council and find out what's happened at Radley, the types of consultants that they employed to carry this out. I have already made some investigatory work into looking for who may or may not be able to help this to bring back to committee. But I hear what you say, Mr. Chairman, about the possibility of not starting it till 2021, till after the local plan has been finalised.
Yeah, so I was just thinking we ought to have something in front of us to look at when we look at the local plan, to see, whether there are obvious things that are not compatible or whatever.
Well, we should be ready, shouldn't we, Clive?
Exactly. Yeah, if we're serious about it. For those, if you don't know, if we have a neighbourhood plan in place, any building that attracts CIL money in that area of the local plan, we get 25% of instead of 15% of, which is the current situation. So that's an added attraction of having one. But yes, we've got
unless
options.
it's in the Elstree corridor, where it's
yes, that's right.
But we do have more of a say, Clive.
Hopefully
we are in neighbourhood, because I've spoken to people on the committee in Radlett. Hugh, you can speak to them, but they've said they're listened to more from HBC, and they have they're more involved.
Right. So what I request then is, perhaps if anyone has any specific thoughts on what we should be aiming for, perhaps if I coordinate it, will that be acceptable? You could email me and let me know, and we can tell the whole council they have some ideas. So email me with.
I think it will require a council resolution to agree to move to adopting a neighbourhood plan rather than through this committee alone.
Okay. So has it got
I need
to come
to check my notes
we're not,
but there is a checklist of procedures we have to go through. It's quite a formalised process.
Sure, I was just thinking of doing some informal preliminary
Indeed,
work.
in terms of information gathering.
Yes.
Fine, yeah.
Okay.
So just asking for ideas at the moment. Okay, good. Let's move on then. CIL, to receive an update report from the committee chairman. liaison with Hertsmere Borough Council on 18th of August. Ah, right.
Just be mindful that wasn't a public meeting, Chairman, so
No,
don't know. I wasn't there.
I
but,
don't have my notes to hand.
right.
Now, I can't remember anything major coming out of that.
I wasn't
We
there.
did have a meeting with Andrew Stevenson, who's in charge of sort of infrastructure planning for Hertsmere, and Becky, I've forgotten her other name. Yeah, who is basically the SIL person. And I think they were saying that there were some changes to the SIL regulations, if I remember correctly. And we were again, sorry, Pat, have you got
I've got the
notes?
notes in front of me.
Oh, would you care to pick out
Well,
anything?
so Andrew said that he mostly looks to spend SIL money on physical infrastructure,
Yeah.
bridges, drainage, flood systems, active travel systems, cycle routes, wind farms, solar panels. So there is flexibility in what the town can spend, but must more close alignment to a more robust defence of our SIL spend. The extension of the town council offices and hall enlargement could not fall under this.
But we were told it was. That was a different opinion.
There was a different opinion, exactly.
Mm.
That's
Yeah,
it. And the discussion about where the medical hub might be, 2 or 3 different proposals for that. One being at Alum Lane,
Yeah.
the other being 2 hubs, and one would be on Elstree Way. That's it, really.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't remember anything really major coming out of it.
No,
It was
no.
useful to have discussions.
No,
It wasn't.
But yeah, I was just wondering, actually, talking about a medical hub in Alum Lane, I wonder if they were thinking of having it in the location, the planning application we just reviewed.
no. It's HEL 341. That's
Oh,
where they're
that-
thinking of having it. That would be the plot that goes between the waste unit and runs at the top of the rise and all the way to Daniel Farm. There's a
So is
huge
that-
block
yeah.
of land there.
Is that green belt though?
Oh, well, of course it is. It's all green belt.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that. Do we need to anything else on SIL, community infrastructure levy?
The only thing, I mean, you asked at the beginning of the meeting, Mr. Chairman, about the graveyard situation.
Yep.
At All Saints. As far as I can tell, presumably because of COVID, I've had absolutely nothing back from the church or the Church of England with regards to the faculty that was required to seek to get the works done for the Golden Gravel Path, etc., etc. In the meantime, what we have done, as I said at a previous occasion, a lot of work has been done on All Saints Cemetery in terms of cutting back and repairing the pathway. It's actually looking far better than it has for some.
That's very good. Yeah.
Partly because of the fact that resources have been diverted and because of COVID away from, say, the entertainment side of things. So there's been more time to spend on cutting the graveyards grass. So not much to say on that. I think perhaps at an appropriate time it would be helpful to have another meeting with Reverend Tim Moore and find out what, if anything, their hopes and aspirations are for that site and how council can.
As they say, it's always good to talk. Thank you.
Yeah.
Allotment to receive an update report and fee scale and report on water leak. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, in terms of the rents, we're very pleased that given the COVID restrictions that we're doing very well in collecting the fees for the allotments. And what has been a huge help is the contactless card system that we installed at the town council, because it mitigates against having residents to have the correct change or to deal with change, so on. So it's been very good. We're at least halfway through collecting all of those rents, and we'll chase the ones that are outstanding. It is a requirement of the council to give plot holders a year's notice if it intends to put up the rents. So if you were minding to do that for, yes, it'll be 2021, 22 now. It's something that you would have ordinarily have agreed in June. We didn't have anything in June because we didn't have any.
No, it's a problem.
So if you were minded to do that, we did put them up quite recently, I think, to £5 per poll, with most plots.
I don't think we should put it up at this moment.
So most plots cost £25. Most plots cost £25.
I think it's best to leave it as
Very,
it is.
very reasonable.
Leave it as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we just minute to review it again next June? Did you say?
It will be reviewed.
will be,
It's
good.
on the annual review
Okay.
as an item. It will be
Right.
every June ordinarily. The
Okay.
second point is just to let you know that there was quite a serious water leak up at Alum Lane on the town council's land, and it has been repaired now, and we're monitoring that. And the site wardens at my direction are now taking water readings at all sites on a monthly basis to record to see if any variations, any significant variances.
That's good.
Can't remember the exact cost, but it was certainly less than £1,000, but more than 200. I'll find that out for you.
What, for the repair or for the water cost as well?
No, we don't know about the loss of water, the cost of that. But
Right. Do I recall correctly that there was a leak there?
Melrose a while back, yes.
There was one at Melrose, was there previously?
Something of an occupational hazard for us.
Yes. Okay. Can I just raise something on the subject of allotments? Looking at the renewal checklist, at the bottom of, right at the end, it says renewal breach of tenancy. If you are found to be in breach of your tenancy, you will be subject to a verbal warning followed by a written warning. But it doesn't say what would trigger the written warning. And it's just occurred to me that wording could be improved possibly by saying initially to verbal warning, and if a further breach occurs, it will be followed by a written warning. And then you go on to say that if it's serious, it could be immediate notice period or whatever.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think the site wardens. I think it's quite a well-written document.
Yeah.
This. I mean, if there was a serious breach, then there would be an immediate eviction.
No, it doesn't say.
But if we can make the wording run more smoothly, or sort of a little bit more.
Yeah, it's just a suggestion there that I think
I'll
followed by
run it
a
past
written
you.
warning in the case of a further.
I'll have a look at those words
breach.
myself and see if I can come up.
Thank you.
Fine tune it.
Just it proves I've been looking at it anyway, nothing else. Okay, Bandstand project. Pat, do you have anything on that? Or does you?
The new CEO of Hertsmere Council has offered to have a virtual meeting with us and with Hugh and with Seamus Quilty, so that we can try to get this resolved and through. So I think Sandra, you've got the.
I sent, I got the email, but I replied to say yes, we would like a meeting, but I've yet to have a reply from him from that.
Okay, so who's going to take that forward, please?
When it comes through,
Okay.
Once he replies to me, and if he hasn't replied by tomorrow, I'll do it again.
Great. Okay, great. Thank you for that. Budget, Hugh.
Well, no, this is just, it's your first bite of the cherry. I use that expression every year, members, for looking at the budget for next year, so that we can add any items that you may be particularly mindful. There will be others that I will put in for you when you look at the draft budget based on the information that I'm receiving about environment. But you might have ideas of yourself. You might say, we want to install some new benches next year, or we want to plant some trees, whatever it is. So it's your first bite of the cherry to put some allocations into the draft budget, so we can look at those and get the red pen out and drill down into the budget at later sessions of the committee cycle.
Right. So does anyone have
Came
any?
to the meeting with any ideas? Did you have any?
Personally, only I would love to be able to find some land or some premises to build as a community resource, ideally in Elstree Village. The old pub there would be ideal, but I don't think we can run to that. So I'm not quite sure what else we can do. There's certainly a dearth of places. I gather that actually the old Cannon Public House, I was up there the other day, it's being used as a sort of nursery or something, and another organisation is renting some space there. But I think that might be up for sale for development, obviously, which is where they get their money. And again, I guess we probably couldn't afford it anyway.
Sorry, the old Cannon, is that the one in North Boreham Wood?
Thirsk Road.
First
Yeah.
Road. All right.
Yeah. Yes, it's off
It's on the
Gateshead. Anyway, it is currently being used for various things, people in the community. Okay.
So I'll come next time, Mr. Chairman, with a more detailed proposal. This was just, as I said, your first opportunity.
Exactly.
Any headline items that you wanted added. I mean, maybe, for example, one that immediately comes to mind is we may want to put, I don't know, £1,000 or £2,000 in the proposed budget for architects' fees if we want to start consulting architects. You may want to put in money for costs associated with developing a neighbourhood plan.
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
So-
What happened to the money we supposedly sort of earmarked for that? Was it?
That's
Released, was it?
No, it's still available in parts. There are other sources of funding it as well, and grants
Sure.
to apply for
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah, I
but
guess
for preliminary work, there may be other costs associated with preparing for the neighbourhood plan, like
yeah, of course.
advertising for a consultant, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So we may want
Indeed.
to budgets to use to deploy quickly for that purpose, rather than releasing earmark reserves for everything.
Yeah, indeed. I'll make some inquiries about
Chairman,
it as well.
So are there still funds available from SIL at Borough for us to do the neighbourhood plan?
Did you? I don't know. I believe that I have heard, but I'm not sure I've got this in black and white, that SIL money can be used for developing a neighbourhood plan.
I believe so.
But I'd like to see that in a more formalised way. In terms of SIL money, yes, there's a significant amount of SIL money available for if that were the case. There are other earmark reserves as well. It's perhaps a conversation for another time, something maybe the audit subcommittee could look at, or this committee, with a little bit more forewarning. I don't have, as you can see at home, I don't have to.
When are we due one? We normally have one in November, but we had a very late one recently.
Yeah, no,
In
before
house
the
audit.
year end. It'll be before year end.
Presumably March then, yeah. Okay.
I think it's
Regarding
something to ponder about.
regarding community halls, when we went to this Bowling Green inauguration, we were told that there are 11 community halls in Elstree and Boreham Wood not being used at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I
this is
suspect.
this is because of COVID, isn't it?
No. It's pre-COVID.
Prior to COVID.
When we went to Bowling Green inauguration, sometime in November last
Before
year,
COVID.
much before COVID, November last year.
That was sometimes in November, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think there are at least 3, aren't there, under Communities First, and I suspect they might not publicise them that well. There's the one up at Farrier's. There's Windsor Hall.
That's you. Windsor Hall's
Yeah, I
used.
suspect it is. Yes, but I mean that one, for instance, is fairly small.
There's one near Aberfoyle Park, the tennis court, which was there's a plan to convert it to a community hall again.
Yes, or they're going to have a cafe there, aren't they? Yeah.
Canteen or something, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, that's presumably fallen foul of COVID with the borough.
I know, yeah.
So,
So I mean, we have plenty of halls like this, not being used at all. I mean, our own town hall for that matter, I mean.
which is strange because people complain that they can't get places to hold events.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's a case of suitability as well, I guess.
But also, a Windsor Hall is very difficult to park, and it's
Yes.
quite off the beaten track.
But it's used, Pat.
They have a toddler group in there every
Yeah,
morning, don't
yeah.
they?
Mm. Yes, just giving me an idea about something else there. Okay, that's great then.
Start off
Is there-
with this then. Can I just ask one question?
Yep.
Hugh, have you been sent this new planning white paper?
It doesn't ring a bell with me, Pat, but I will check. And if I haven't been sent it, I'm quite sure that I can get my claws on it.
Yeah.
No, it may be that you haven't. They were only talking about it yesterday at the Greenbelt meeting, and so it must be very recent.
Actually, it does ring a bell, but let me do some investigatory work. I'll get back to you, Pat.
Yeah, I'd certainly be interested to see
Maybe
it.
if
I
it's
managed it.
well, we'll consult. We could potentially consult the council or at least the committee about it. You know, and
Yeah.
put some comments.
I imagine it's available online somewhere.
I think,
Can I
Chair,
ask, Alpha and Prabhakar, did you have a list of those halls? Have you got a list of those halls?
Yeah, at that point
Yeah.
of time, actually, I remember he made about 6 on the spot.
Can you send it to us to see which halls they
No,
are
no,
talking
no, that was a long time ago. If you want, I can get it from the internet. I'm sure that you can get these halls from the
No,
internet.
the ones you were
Because-
told, that were not being used would be
Yeah,
I'd be very interested in the names of them.
okay.
that won't be much of a problem. What we can do,
know,
we'll
yeah.
fish around and gather all of the necessary information
plenty.
and provide to this
Yeah, it
body.
would be very good to pass it on to us, yeah.
But in the meantime,
Thank
Chair, what we can do is, because we have a lot of things going on within our community, what we're gonna make a proposal and present it to this honorable body through the clerk. And then we can go about with it to see how best SIL can go about and fund some of these issues within our community, because our community is very much deprived. And the kids there, they have nothing to do. They just mill around, and they are very truant. And I believe the SIL can be able to help in this manner.
It'd be useful to know where these meeting places are.
If they're not being used, yeah.
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 That's what I've just said. Can you?
That's
Yeah, I
what we
know,
said.
yeah.
We'll find, we gather all of the information, and we'll forward it to this body so that
Yeah,
we can
that's
be able
good.
to-
Yeah, it's a SIL proposal. That's exactly what this committee looks at.
Yeah, very good.
Okay.
Great. Okay, everyone. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can we meet more often, by the way, or we meet only when we
Thank you
get these
very much.
proposals?
The meeting schedule set out and was agreed at the last full council meeting, wasn't it? So
Because everywhere we go, we hear only of
You've still got this
delays in
somewhere.
applications, planning approvals and all that.
Yeah, indeed. Next one's
What's
due
the
when?
schedule?
November.
it should
Next is
be
November, I
the
think.
agenda. It's
Have a
the
schedule.
20th of October.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, 20th
Pretty good.
October.
This committee usually meets once a month,
Yes.
apart from certain months where
August.
there's holidays.
Yeah.
It meets once a month, this committee, but with the best will in the world, more frequent meetings than monthly is
Not necessary.
Oh, no.
something of.
You, are you in the office tomorrow? Could you just tell me if you're in the office tomorrow?
I can tell you that.
No, I'm just asking you because
Yes.
I just want to, if you're not, I can still contact you. It's okay.
I am. I was just thinking whether there are any implications of letting the YouTube viewers know that I was.
We are on the watch list, by the way, Hartsmere.
Sorry, I thought we would finish. I
So
thought,
So as you know, with COVID.
I am. I'm in the office.
Are you
I'm in the office
closing
tomorrow.
the-
On most days, to be
sorry,
honest
are
with
you
you.
closing the meeting,
Yeah, it's great.
Clive?
Okay.
It's
Lovely.
nice to be
Sorry.
back, but we're having to be sensible in terms of.
Right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Right. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
See you
I'll
soon.
close the meeting, Chairman,
Bye.
at 2 minutes to 8.
Thank you.